High in the lofty Himalayas, where the earth meets the sky, lies a small country sandwiched between India and Tibet. It's hard to get to. You head for Kathmandu, swing a right past Mount Everest, and then you hold your breath and your nerve as you pass through a narrow gap in the mountains, and then whew, you've arrived. Imagine a country with no McDonald's, no Burger King, no Starbucks, and no advertising hoardings. Such a country is the Kingdom of Bhutan, the land of the Thunder Dragon. This tiny country has a population of just 830,000, and it's unique in many ways. In 1998, the king decided that happiness was much more important than economic growth. And so they measure GNH, gross national happiness, instead of GNP. And are they happy? Well, there are lots of delightful children and lots of smiling faces around. They're one of only 2 carbon-negative countries in the world. Under the Constitution, 60% of all land will be under forest for all time. They aim for 100% organic farming, and they don't allow hunting. They frown on fishing, and they've even banned overhead cables in case it affects bird life. Plastic bags are banned, and in 2010 they banned tobacco sales and smoking. They're devout Buddhists, and every home and shop has a shrine. Prayer wheels are ubiquitous, and religious practice is a continuum, both in public and in private. Buddhist monks are omnipresent. Traditionally, Bhutanese families sent one son to join a monastery. This was viewed as creating merit for the family and a blessing for the child. Here, when children attend secondary schools, they're taught in English. They meditate and pray every day before class, and they're given a daily pep talk. And interestingly, they must spend 3 days a month doing social work in their community. The national sport is archery. It's an activity that involves teamwork and camaraderie. The target is 145 meters away. That's 20% longer than a soccer pitch. And boy, do they celebrate when an archer hits that small target. They also enjoy simple board games like carom and simple field games like marbles. And evening entertainment consists of singing and dancing. They use phallic symbols to ward off evil spirits. Many houses hang the symbols from their eaves and over doorways. It's quite unique and a little off-putting for some visitors. It's a country where almost 80% of the population earn their living from farming. And farming here is hugely labour-intensive. Dzongs dominate the skyline. They were originally built as fortresses, and now they serve as religious, military, administrative and social centres for their district. They also illustrate the duality of religious and civilian government. They didn't have any paved roads until 1961. In recent years, however, there has been a significant road building programme, although they still don't have streetlights or traffic lights. For thousands of years, this was a country that shunned consumerism and anything else which might make its people unhappy. Modernity took forever to reach Bhutan, but when it arrived, it came with a bang. In 1999, Bhutan, this famous Shangri-La, became the last nation on earth to introduce television. Suddenly a culture barely changed in centuries was bombarded by 46 cable channels. Television, mobile phones and the internet are revealing the wonders and the evils of the outside world. If ever there was evidence of the corrosive and corrupting effect of mass media, this is it. There were 2,000 mobile phone users in 2003. Now there are 766,000 registered users. That's close to 100% of the population. All too soon came Bhutan's first crime wave: murder, fraud and drug offences. In a country that used to even lock their front doors, we're now seeing CCTV and razor wire. There's something quite depressing about watching a society casting aside its unique character and creating, with acute speed, a nation of hungry consumers from a kingdom that once acted collectively and spiritually. The national newspaper, in a call for censorship, warns, "We are seeing for the first time broken families, school dropouts, and other negative youth crimes. We are beginning to see crime associated with drug users all over the world: shoplifting, burglary, and violence." The Minister for Education agrees that there is a gulf opening up between the old Bhutan and the new. He said, "Until recently, we shied away from killing insects. And now we Bhutanese are asked to watch people on television blowing each other's heads off with shotguns. Will we soon be doing the same?" A school principal says, "Our children live in two different worlds, one created by the school and another by cable television. Our challenge is to help them to understand both, and we are terribly afraid of failing."
And my favorite player, Park Ji-sung, who is playing in Korean national team. And my favorite band, that is Big Bang.
To these children, Korea is a familiar country and a place they'd like to visit someday.
In a country where 80% of the population are farmers, they're starting to see a drift from the land. After all, what teenager wants to be a yak herder if it means being out of mobile phone range? And so this small insular place is caught between two very different worlds. The simple, traditional but happy existence, subscribing to the Buddhist concept that an absence of desire leads to happiness. They've now glimpsed through television and the internet a complex view of the world, a world driven by consumption and by self-interest, creating greed, violence and unfulfilled expectations. And ultimately, unhappiness